Good afternoon, everybody. It's about 10 minutes to 2 on Father's Day. That's 2013, and I'm going to be, and next week I'll be 91 years old. I just want to let you know those things because there's not too many of us to get to 91, so I want to make sure that you guys know about it. And I'm here in my little apartment complex here with my dear son Stephen. Anyhow, I want you guys to know that I love you all dearly, and this is a memento from me and Steve to all of you in the family, in the Killeen family, and all the families related to the Killeen family. I want to let you know a little bit about me in the service, how it became that I went into the Marine Corps. In 1941, in the morning of, in the time of January of 1941, there was a clouds of war between England and Germany, and it was getting very, very serious. And England was getting clobbered pretty good by Germany. And Churchill asked FDR for help. FDR could not do anything at the time because he didn't feel that at the time he was ready for a confrontation. But there was something going on that FDR didn't know, and it happened very suddenly. There was a country that wanted to dominate us very badly, and they felt they could do it. Pardon me for clearing my throat. And so they got all the metal, all the iron they could, bottle caps, everything, metal, that they could get from the United States for years. They accumulated it so much to the point that they used it for war purposes, which we had no idea that this particular country, and I'm talking about Japan, had every intention to use it against the United States of America. Anyhow, it so happened that at that time, I decided to go to the Marine Corps, and the reason for it was that we were in Depression years. I was the eldest of 4 boys. My mother said, "Son, I'm sorry, but things are getting so difficult for me to take care of all 4 of you boys that you've got to do something to help out." And at that time, I was 18 years of age. Right, I just was going to high school, and my brother Mark, who was 17, decided that he wanted to go in the service also. I decided into the Marine Corps, and we went to the recruit depot there in Phoenix, and they told us, "Well, sorry fellas, but we can't take any more. They're not going to be able to sign any more applicants for another 2 weeks." So, but he said, the recruiter said, "If you go to San Diego, if you get to San Diego, there's a guy by the name of Sergeant Breezy, and he is one of the recruiters there in the Marine Corps depot. Tell him I sent you there, and he will get you into the Marine Corps. So if you can manage to do that, gentlemen, you will be able to get in the Marines." So we went home and told Mother about it. Mother made a call to a friend of hers that happened to be going to San Diego, and so we got a job. We got a ride over to San Diego in his car. He dropped us off at the Marine Corps depot. We went into the recruiting office, and Breezy was there, and Breezy said, "Fellas, I'm sorry, but our quota is all filled up. We have no opening for another 2 weeks." And we told him, "Now, we just hitchhiked over here. We have no place to go, and we can't be going back home again. Is there anything can be done?" Yes, you can. See those bunks out there in the corner. You can go in there, lay down. You can use those bunks. You get. You can go across the street, across the way from here is a mess hall. You can go in there. We'll give you a pass to go in there and have your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinners right there. And if you want to go out on Liberty, you want to get out off the base, we'll give you a pass for that so you can go in and out in your city. I said, well, that sounds like a good deal. And it'll be about 2 weeks, fellas. So I said, okay. So that's what we did. We waited there, and during the time that we were there was times that we would sit outside and get to sun ourselves. In front of the depot, there was benches there that we could sit down in front of the area there. And across from us was a mess hall. And all the recruiters, all the guys are recruits, Marine Corps recruits, they were standing in line with their mess gears to go into the mess hall to eat. And they would see us over there in Civvy Coast in front of this recruit depot, and they would turn around and say, "Suckers, suckers!" And we couldn't say anything because at that time we didn't know what we were suckers about. We wanted to be in the Marines. But there we found out once we got in and training at the recruit depot, we realized what they were talking about when they said suckers. That you go through hell when you go through boot camp in the Marine Corps. Anyhow, after after our training, we were my brother Mark and myself were asked what area that we were interested in serving in the Marine Corps, and he said, "I want guard duty." Mark asked for guard duty, and I said, "I want to see the world. I want to go travel. I want to go seagoing." So they checked with seagoing school, and sea school was filled up. There was no openings. But and then he looked at my record there, and he said, "You played the trumpet in high school?" I said, "Yeah, I played the trumpet." He says, "How would you like to go to bugler school?" He says, Why bugler school?" He says, "If you go to bugler school in 3 weeks, you'll be in Pearl Harbor." I says, "You got a deal." So I turned around and said, "Okay, sign me up." So I went to bugler school for 3 weeks or so, and before I knew it, I was on my way to Pearl Harbor. One thing I didn't know is that getting there to Pearl Harbor wasn't the easiest thing in the world. We went to San Pedro, got on a tin can, which is a destroyer to most all people. Us people in the service, and especially in the Navy, we call destroyers tin cans because they are very lightweight and they move around, and they're the ones that try to keep the submarines from blowing us up, make it into smithereens. So consequently, we got on the USS Fanning. That was the name of the tin can that we got in on. But in doing so, we didn't get the chance to just sit down there as passengers. We had to work our way over there for 3 days. Now, guess what we were? We were assigned the mess hall. And we were assigned to food, and the working in the mess hall and all that, and around food. Well, during the period of time that we were 3 days, that tin can was bobbling up and down like a cork in the rainstorm, and that it made us sick there, and so sick that we got to go to the fantail, which is the rear end of the ship, and throw up and throw up and throw up. At the same time, we had to come over and serve the food and work in the kitchen and smell that food, and it just made us sick. We'd go back to the fantail and throw up. Well, that's the way we went for 3 days, and during that period of time, they weren't finished with it. They had us go on the forecastle part of the ship, front of the ship, and clean all of the salt salted water that was collecting on around the winds and the windows and everything, and areas that they wanted to clear out. So with one hand we were hanging on for dear life, and with the other hand we were doing the wiping. And inside the cabin where you steer the ship was a officer in charge of the ship, and his cohorts, of course, that were all there, and they were all laughing themselves to death because they saw us Marines going through hell. I'll never forget that. But that's the way it was, all the way for 3 days. We finally ended up in Pearl Harbor, and my partner that was with me, he went on one ship, and I went on the USS Honolulu. And I thought that was my assignment, but no, that was not my assignment. That was a new light cruiser that was just commissioned not too long before I got there. Beautiful thing. It was like a yacht. It's got all the brass was bright and shiny, and everything was either white as snow or bright and shiny, and it was just like a yacht. And it was carpeted with a red carpet all the way up the stairway into the ship. It was beautiful. It was so presentable that I was impressed. I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to live on this thing." Well, it so happened I just stayed there about 4 or 5 days, and here comes, he says, my Tennessee which was my assigned ship, and that was a battleship, and it was an elder of the battleship. There was a whole group of older ships that were commissioned in the 20s and reassigned and refitted and brought up to date, and so that's the ship that I was assigned to in Pearl Harbor, and that was around May of 1941. Lo and behold, at that time, from that point on, we went on maneuvers. We did the whole thing, and on the maneuvers in December. We went for 3 weeks out on maneuvers, and we came back to Pearl Harbor. And the morning of December the 7th, at 7:45 in the morning, I hear this tut 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 in the distance. I wonder, what the heck is that? We're not having maneuvers in Pearl Harbor. We just had our maneuvers out there at sea. This is ridiculous. And all of a sudden, here comes this plane. I saw it in front of me in my eyes. He was making a sharp turn, and silver. It was red dots on each wing. And I said, uh-oh, this is not one of our planes. And then he turned around and right at me where I was, because I was up on this very top of my ship called the Crow's Nest, and there were the directors for the 16-inch guns that of our battleship. And I was up there cleaning that all up, because when we were out at sea, for 3 weeks it got messed up there. Anyhow, as it turns out, here I was up in the Crow's Nest, and all that lead flying all around me, and I could hear it bing, 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 bing all around me. I thought, well, I'm not going to live very long staying here. So I immediately opened the trap door leading down the staircase, and I finally hit the deck. I fell and hit the deck real hard, and here comes the officer of the deck. He says, "Music, sound general quarters." "Yes, sir." "But I'm not on duty, sir." And he said, "Damn it, sound general quarters." I said, "Okay, yes, sir." And I saluted him, and I went over there and sounded that. Now, when you go and use somebody else's mouthpiece on a bugle or any kind of instrument that has a mouthpiece, they vary for different reasons. In this particular case, I did not. The cup on this of this bugle was a little larger than what I am used to on mine. I always carried my mouthpiece with me, but at that time, on that particular day, I didn't. Anyhow, I sounded general quarters, and it was pretty lousy as far as I was concerned. And then the bosun mate pushed me to one side, and he got his little whistle out, and then, all hands, man your battle stations. This is not a drill. Man your battle stations. General quarters. And that was the end of that. And then I went to my post, my secondary post, and I was helping out in the pom-poms right next to the number 4 turret. And I found out later, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes later, somebody came by to me. Did you see what happened? I said, no, what happened? She said there was a bomb that split open the number 3 turret, which is the one that was in, and it split the turret, and the incendiary part of the bomb went off and burned everybody inside, but the bomb itself did not go off. It was a dud. I said to myself, boy, thank you, God. At that time, I thought, sure, if that had gone, I wouldn't be here talking to you like I am. I would have been up there with the angels. Anyhow, as it turns out, that we went on fighting our enemies for 3/4 of an hour after that, and then all of a sudden, it was a lull for about an hour, and all of a sudden here comes another wave of planes coming. But we were ready for them this time, and we did some harm. We brought some planes down and did a lot more harm than we did the first time. But we were at a disadvantage because a lot of our ships were very